Hey guys, what's going on? This is AJ170, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the edits I made to TolyCo's Gun script. Now, let's start this off by talking about some of the required dependencies here. This is built off of version 1.3.7, which at the time, this is the latest version currently out. I don't know if my edit will work on a later versions. It more than likely won't, with what he's been saying in the Discord and the features that are going to be added in the next update. This is just a temporary fix so people can use his gun script because due to a VRChat update, the reloading on it broke. The automatic reload will either just jam or start playing the clip infinitely, or it just won't even simply reload at all. And that's with version 1.3.7. But I went ahead and fixed all of that, and then I also added some more features and then added some default guns for you guys to use to hopefully make everything a little bit smoother and easier. So, to talk a little bit more about the combat system, requires the latest version of UdonSharp that you can obtain through the Creator Companion, and it also relies on the UdonStow system. If you don't have the UdonStow system or UdonSharp through the Creator Companion, then this simply isn't going to work. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So I have a blank project right here, nothing really special going on. All I did was set up the VRChat SDK, and that was it. I started off by importing the Stow system. Then I imported War FX by JMO for the particle effects that I use. It's a free package on the Unity Asset Store, highly recommended. And then I imported the combat system, and then I imported my system last because I have to replace his gun script. So now that I have everything installed, there's one thing that you might have to do. I will probably fix this and re-export everything so it's a little bit cleaner. But in case something is a little messed up, you can go ahead and take a look at your materials here, and you can check to see if any of them are errors like these are. So we are just going to go ahead and click all of these. And then we are going to change it to standard specular setup. Once we've done that, we're good. So now we can go back to our assets. I'm going to go to Tally Scripts. I'm going to go to the combat system. I am going to go to prefabs. And then we are just going to click and drag the combat system prefab out into here. I normally like to unpack it. I'll go to player health. We want to expand the respawn point, and then let's just click and drag our VRC world in there for now. And of course, if you're using more spawns, you just simply fill it up just like the spawn point on there. And then just double check that everything else looks right. Right here, I just want to make sure that you have the player health manager on the hitboxes. It looks like they all have it. And then everything else looks like it should be working to me. I don't believe we're missing anything from here. So now we should be able to just simply click and drag the guns in. So we'll start off with probably my two favorites. Start off with the lever action, and then let's do the trench gun. Now, when we look at these, you're going to see some extra scripts on here if we were to just simply look at one of Tali's guns. Because for everything to work in my game, I needed some extra stuff. Now, I went ahead and included these in case anybody else needs them. So the pickup toggle is very straightforward. Almost everything I have, you can hover your mouse over it and then just simply read what everything does. But this right here, when a player picks up this VRC pickup, it will enable everything in this pool. And when a player picks up this VRC pickup at the same time of enabling this, it will disable everything in here. So, for example, you could use this for a lot of different things. For example, you could use this in an Indiana Jones world where you have your little magical relic sitting on a totem, and as soon as you pick up the totem, it despawns, and then a giant boulder spawns in its place, and it starts rolling towards you. Boom, you have that whole mechanic done just with this one little script right here. And this is like 3 lines of code. The checkbox right here, this will just simply disable the objects in this pool at start. So in case you don't want it to be disabled upon start, I like to have this on there just as a failsafe, because what I'm using this for on my world that I'm making is it toggles on the hood counter for the ammo count. So I want those to be off by default in case I accidentally left them on. So that's what that script right there is for. But you guys probably don't need it. You can probably just click on it and remove it. I don't think you guys will be using this at all unless you have a specific use for it. Now, if we go ahead and we look at scripts, we can see a lot of things here have changed. I'm going to go ahead and just go through everything in order about what you would want to set up. So the gun animator is optional. This would go on wherever you put the animator. I prefer to put it directly on the model. We'll talk about this script later. And then you would just simply click and drag it into the animator place. The display has been changed from a normal text to now being a Text Mesh Pro, which is pretty simple. This is also specifically for a GUI, which means that you'll have to make a canvas system and then put the Text Mesh Pro GUI that comes with it inside the UI inside of this spot right here. So it would look something, I don't even have Text Mesh Pro on here. But basically, you just go to UI, create a canvas, and then from there you put the Text Mesh Pro GUI in there, and then you throw that in right here, and that will display a live feed of your ammo count. This right here is the same as before. It's your shell particle that comes out of the gun. This is the same as before. It's the muzzle flash effect that comes out of the gun, or tracer effect, or whatever you decide to make. Your secondary grip pickup is your secondary grip. It's the spear. Your pickup is your primary pickup, which is the main part of it all. Now, under fire selection, I have moved some things around. So shotgun has its own folder now. It works exactly the same as it did before. One of the things that's a little bit different now is if we go to per shot animation, actually, I'll keep going down the list in case you don't know what everything is. So fire selection is straightforward. It just changes your fire selection. Safe means that the safety's on, that your gun doesn't fire. Enabling the shotgun will then make these mini pellets come out of the gun, and then you combine that with bullet spread. That's down here to make it look like a shotgun. Cycle time is your rate of fire, and it's also the fire rate of the bursts. So this right here will make your gun go from boom, boom, boom to boom, boom, boom. And if it's a burst, it'll make it go from boom, 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 boom to ba, 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 a little bit faster. The bursts won't come out faster, like in between the time of bursts. It's the actual shoot of the individual bursts that come out faster. Burst cycle time is only when you have burst on, and that's what modifies the time in between each burst. And then burst count is how many bullets will come in each burst. So 3 would be boom, 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 4 would be boom, 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 and so on and so forth. Now, per shot animation, you still have your base cycle off animation, just like before, and you have your cycle animation, but now you have final cycle animation. Now, final cycle animation is optional, just like cycle animation, so if you leave it empty, it's perfectly fine. Now, what this will do is this will make it to where when you have 1 bullet left in your magazine, it will play a different shooting animation. I did this because with specific guns, like for example, a pistol, when you shoot the last bullet out of a pistol, it will cock backwards and then it will stay to where you have to reload it and then recock it. So I wanted to make all of the guns a little bit more accurate, so I added this to it. And it handles everything on its own. It knows how much ammo you have. So we're gonna touch on this again later and explain a little bit more about that. But for bullet settings, max distance is max distance it can travel. Bullet spread is the spread of the bullets. Raycast damage amount is the amount of damage for a raycast. Fire position is the position the bullet comes out of. Now, reload audio bypass was something that I added. This is basically a toggle for this script right here, essentially. They don't communicate with each other, they just kind of need each other. What the reload audio bypass does is it stops the mag pull, the mag insert, and the gun cock from ever playing. Just that all it does in the code is it just simply stops the play one shot from happening. That's all it does. So you still need to put an audio clip in here. I literally have an audio clip called no audio. It's just a blank audio clip because if you leave these empty, this won't work. Plain and simple. It breaks the reload. So you have to have an audio clip in each one. This one you can leave empty. The final gunshot clip you can leave empty, and the random gunshot clip you can keep empty. But everything else has to have a clip in there except for the final gunshot and the random gunshot clip. But again, this just disables the reloading effects from just simply playing. It doesn't touch the shoot effect and it doesn't touch the empty effects. Now, the final gunshot does the same thing that the final shot does. It plays a different sound effect on the final shoot when you have only one bullet left on the mag. This is useful for guns like a Kar 98 or a lever action that will have a different shooting effect each time because the lever action here has the cock effect when you have to basically pump it or choke it, whatever it's called. You have that sound effect that happens every time it shoots. But on the last shoot effect, I didn't want to go and cock the gun, reload it, and then cock it again because that doesn't make any sense. So I made it to where it just shoots it at the end and then that's it. Now, random gunshot clip is in case you have a gun with multiple gunshot effects. Like, for example, let's say you're porting stuff from Fortnite. Fortnite should have like 5 or 6 different shoot sound effects. Same thing with some Call of Duty games and other things. So that's why I added this, so you can make things just a little bit more realistic. Now we can move on from audio settings and go down to reload settings. Most of the stuff that's outside of the folder is the same here. You have your reload time, pretty self-explanatory. Time on how long it takes to reload. You have your reload on mag empty, meaning it automatically reloads. You have this is where things get a little bit different now. You have your ammo count, which is your current ammo in the magazine, meaning this is your live ammo. So let's say you start off with 10 bullets, you shoot 1 bullet, you now have 9 bullets. All right. That's what this is. This is something you set when you first start the script, and that is it. You don't modify it. Mag size is what happens when you reload. Every time you reload, your ammo count turns into the mag size. The mag size is static. It never changes unless you make a script that makes it change. For example, if you wanted to have upgraded magazines on your gun, you would disable the magazine object, you would enable a bigger magazine object, and then you would target this integer, and then you would increase it in your script. And you would also want to increase the current ammo will fix itself when you reload, so you don't got to worry about that. Because the ammo count, remember, the ammo count is your live ammo count. Mag size is your static magazine size. All right, max ammo is your max ammo reserve. That is how much ammo you start off with in the gun. So, for example, in these settings, that means I start off with 10 bullets in my magazine. And every time I reload, I'm going to get 10 bullets. And I have a total of 170 bullets. So this means I have 180 bullets when I spawn in. I have 10 bullets in my magazine, plus another 170 in my back pocket. That's how that works. So I hope I did a good enough job explaining that. Now, of course, if you wanted people to have infinite ammo, you would just do like 9999, something like this, or maybe probably like 9999. You do like 10,000 bullets like that, and it'll be like how it was before the update, and you'll just keep reloading. If you check infinite ammo, that means you never have to reload. You'll just keep shooting forever. Now, under reload settings, you still have the same option called base reload time off animation. We're going to in a second. Final reload animation is the same as all the other final settings up here. This plays a different reload animation when you have only one bullet in the mag versus 2, 3, 7, or 27, however many bullets you have. Now, the reload animation offset, I added this when I noticed that even with this enabled, that even after your reload animation finished, you were still reloading for like half a second. And it would be different depending on which reload effect played. So I needed to add a offset to where I could subtract time from the reload clip and make everything work smoothly. Now, for this gun, since this is going to be a little bit of a different gun, I added per shell reload. These are my two favorite guns because both of these use the per shell reload. The per shell reload will play a different reload animation depending on how many shells you need to insert into the gun. So, for example, if you shoot one bullet and you can only hold one more bullet in the gun and you reload, it only puts one bullet in the gun and then you're good to go. And then, as you can see from here, all of these have offsets. So as you can see, I had to slowly increase them a little bit by how much each clip gets a little bit longer. So everything ends as soon as my animation ends. I didn't want people to be waiting half a second to 2 seconds after the gun finished reloading to be able to start shooting again. That's not fun. So I went ahead and added offsets to everything. The only thing that doesn't offset properly is when you change from this to this. But more than likely, if you're doing different animations like I am, it's not that big of a deal because it's only a quarter of a second where you pause in between it. And if you guys are understanding what I'm talking about, I mean that your your final cycle animation is going to be shorter than your cycle animation. And when you turn this on, it only bases your cycle time off of your cycle animation. It does not update. I couldn't figure out how to make it update. It would just be kind of laggy and not work properly, so I got rid of that. When you toggle this on, it only bases it off of this animation. But down here, if you turn this on right here, it bases it off of this. And then if you could leave this off technically, and it will still base this off of here because we're using per shell reload. If I turn this off, then per shell reload will not be touched at all, and only this will be used. This toggles it on and off. So I can actually leave this unchecked because none of this stuff matters because this right here completely overrides this. This no longer gets used when you're using this, and this toggle is on. And then down here under raycast settings, you have your raycast damage, which you toggle that on and off. If you toggle this off, you do that when you use rigid projectiles for like rocket launchers and stuff. You have your bullet drop, which is something I personally don't like. It's when the bullets drop over distance. I feel like they drop too much over a short distance. Desktop face firing makes it to where when you're on desktop mode, you shoot directly from your crosshair, for example, like in a Call of Duty game. If you turn this off, then that means your bullets come straight out of the gun, for example, in like Gears of War, where they don't line up with your crosshairs. Player spark effect is the same as it is before. I just renamed it a little bit. You have your players. Actually, no, I don't think I renamed this at all. You have your players, which is your layers here, which are right here. So for the players, I found out recently that you have to have default player and player local on. If you turn off default, it won't register with players. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's just what I've had to do to get that to work. I don't know if that's a VRChat bug or what. And then under terrain effect, you set this to whatever your terrain is. So, for example, all of the terrain in my world I'm making is on environment, and then I have a few objects on default, so that's why I have default on. And then I have some stuff set to pick up as well. So now I wanted everything to be able to have the bullet hole effects on it. Haptic feedback is the same. I didn't touch it. I just threw it in miscellaneous settings because it's stuff I don't touch. All the stuff I don't touch got thrown into miscellaneous. So rigid projectile is for when I believe is for when you have it connected to a car. Or no, that's physics stuff. I've this is the rigid projectile compared to raycast. This is what you'd want to use when you have an RPG. Multi-barrel settings, I've never tested it, but I'm assuming this is for when you have multiple barrels. Physics stuff, this is only when you're adding it to a vehicle. You just connect it to the rigid body. And then manipulation settings, I've never messed with it, but I'm assuming by the name of this, it has something to do with the stock. So we've gone through all of the settings on the gun script now. Now we move on to the last script that was added to this, which is this one right here. This is my animation event manager, and it is synced. It's probably not the most optimized way of doing it, but it's the only way I know how to do it. So what this does is you throw in your mechanism audio source, and then you throw in any audio clips you want. So, for example, on the lever action, the only audio clips I'm using is a pump audio clip and then shell insert audio clips. And these are randomized. It will never play the same one twice, thanks to a do while loop, and it will pick a random one every time. Just like with the random shoot effect on the main gun script. And then up here you have particle effects in case you want to do this in the animation. And the reason why these are here is because if we go ahead and we just look at one of these weapons, so for example, we'll look at the lever action, and I'll just pull up a random reload here, we could see that I have used events here. We send custom events, and then we send this custom event right here. So for example, send shell insert clip, that's for the actual shell insert clip. So if we go back right here, we could see we could see cell insert audio, and we could see send shell insert clip. You could see the actual text for it right underneath. This is the text you would enter in on the event to trigger this right here. You can also hover your mouse over it, and it will pop up in a tooltip as well. And that's as simple as that. You just throw in your event when you want it to happen in the animation. You set it to send custom event, and then you type out what you want to send. So send particle 1, send mag in clip, send mag out clip, so on and so forth. I kind of feel like I can't really explain it any further than that. Hopefully you guys understand that. I don't know if I did a good enough job at explaining it or not, because I made the system. You have when you make it, you're blinded by you have operator blindness is what it's called in my profession. But I believe that's about it. I can go ahead and show you guys the guns real quick. I think I should get an error on that pickup script because it's got an empty thing on it now, but that shouldn't really affect anything. So the muzzle flash effect isn't set up. I was using muzzle flash effects I got off of the store for this. So for you guys, they'll be purple. You'll have to replace them with something. The JMO War FX from the Acid Store, that's free, has muzzle flashes. Go ahead and reload. Some of the materials are just a little messed up. Just gotta go through and edit stuff and fix things if you guys are gonna reuse these guns. But depending on how much bullets you need, that's how many it will insert. Now, I don't have the hood counter set up because on my game, I put it directly on the hood. I don't have it floating above the gun. I don't like that, and it's very unoptimized, adding multiple canvas renderers. You only really want to have no more than one. If you guys are wondering how to reload, on desktop, you press Q to reload, and in VR to reload before it's ready, you press down on your right analog stick. But otherwise, all the guns from here work. I don't really think we need to go through the process of making a custom one. They're pretty straightforward. For example, I could just show you with these two. So let's say... Let me delete this trench gun. Let's say we want to make a trench gun. Let's say you don't have a trench gun. All you have is a lever action rifle, right? This is very simple and straightforward. You take the gun that is going to be the donator. You want to start off with a donator gun, meaning you want to start off with a prefab. So if we go to the Toly script, go to Udon Combat, we go to prefabs, you have all these gun prefabs. You can either choose one of Toly's guns, or if you have mine, you can choose one of my guns. It doesn't really matter. They all do the same stuff. So from here, you have your shotgun. That's your donor model. This is just the model right here. And then right here, you have your actual template. So we're going to expand this. We're going to expand the rotation point, and then we're going to throw the trench gun in right here. Now we're going to zero out the position, zero out everything, including the rotation. And then the way I like to do this is I'll grab the wet red square, I'll move it like this, and I'll start up by lining up the barrels. I want my barrels to be lined up perfectly, so then I don't have to do much adjusting to my fire position. It's just forward and backwards. It makes the muzzle flashes and everything, and the clip eject, the bullet shell ejector and everything. It just makes everything easier to line up when you always adjust everything off of this. So I want to make sure it's centered as good as I can get it. That looks pretty good. So now I never go up and down again. I never touch this. So what I just did, that's a no-no. I'm going to hit Control Z now. So now we only adjust it off of the blue axis. So now I'm just going to line up the triggers. Now that the triggers are lined up, we have now successfully swapped out the lever action with a shotgun. So now essentially, this is a lever action that looks like a shotgun. So now from here, we just take the fire position. I just want to make sure it's on the outside by a little bit. Then I would take my mechanism audio. I'll put this where the magazine and stuff is, which is right there. And I go with barrel audio. I put that where the barrel is, and it's already there. And now I want to go to exact grip, and that's already in a pretty much of a good spot. The way I like to think of this is your green square right here is pretty much the bottom of your hand, and then your hand will just be going up from here, and this will be the back of your hand. This will be like your wrist. So your pointer finger should end up right around here, I think. But my VR headset is currently broken. It needs a new power cord. So I can't test that right now. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I could be wrong. Now, I've seen other videos about this, and people say to move the spear up and down. Don't fucking move it. All right? Just don't. Just don't fucking touch it. Excuse my French, but don't fucking move it up or down. All right? It is going to make everything way harder in the long run, because what this does, this spear, this is how you aim your gun with your second hand. So if you move this up, your gun is going to go from right here to up here in play mode. All right. So if I go ahead and I split this side by side here. Now, if I go ahead and I click play here, the gun will teleport up. See what it just did right there? Where the gun aims depends on where this spear is at. So you should never, ever move that up or down, all right? I'm going to hit Control Z, and I'm never touching that thing again. That's not something you need to touch. The only way you should be moving this is left or right. I don't know if there's a better way of setting up the spear, because I understand that some guns have vertical grips that are down here. But to be completely honest, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not experienced enough with Unity to know what to do to set up another grip that can control that grip. I don't know. So maybe somebody in the comments can help us out and show a proper way to set this up. But for as of right now, don't touch the Y-axis. Don't move it up or down. Just left or right. That's it. So I'm just going to line this up with where the grip is going to be, which is about right here. And then that's it. Of course, if you have a gun shell particle effect, you'd line up the gun shell particle effect, but mine gets played through an animation. And then now from here, we just got to modify a couple things in the script. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag my animator over. If I did have a working muzzle flash, I would drag that over, but it's pink. I don't have any of the materials in here. And then from here, you drag the shell particle effect. I would drag in my display text from here. I'd make double check that the spear and the pickup is correct. And then now we modify our settings. So this is a shotgun. I turn this on. Pellet count is 8 for the trench gun. Cycle time, we're going to go ahead and base that off of per shot cycle. I'm just going to change out my animations. So whatever they're supposed to be. So let's just pretend these are the right animations. All right. Then from here, I would adjust this to whatever I want. So for a shotgun, you need to go a little bit higher with the bullet spread. Start off at around 2 and start going up by increments of 1 or 0.5 until you get close to what you like, and then shrink it down from there or slowly increase it depending on what you want. I'll change my audio clips to what I want. So let's say, for example, I want to animate the audio clips on here. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to put no audio in here. And then I'm going to start animating it, which I'll show it here in a second. I'll set up whatever goes on in here that I talked about earlier in the video. I make my animations in here. Just simply go to my animation, start adding, I'll go into record, hit the record button here, start recording all my animations, add my events that I need to add, type out send custom event, and then send particle 1 or whatever you would want. And then from there, our gun would be done. I hope this tutorial was good enough for you guys and you're able to understand everything. And then I believe that's going to be about it. This is AJ170 signing out. See you guys next time.